This 9 council meeting to order. Y'all will stand for the invocation. The most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening to take care of the business of our tribal people. Edo de ko hisan yego zali helini gatsa whicho zata nege. Ostedo zuktani do has kosan yegini gada needs like we not staff tote. Guide and lead us, dear Lord, as we make decisions to better the lives of all of our people. Give us strength and give us wisdom. And we give you all the praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well done. Roll call, Shelley.
Yes, sir. Keith Austin. Here. Harley Buzzard. Here. Joe Bird.
Honey.
Julia Coates. Sean Crittenden. Here. Joe Deere. Honey. Mike Dobbins. Here. Kanan Duncan. Honey. Rex Jordan. Here. Daryl Legg. Here. Wes Snowfire. Honey. Dora Petskowski. Here. Mike Shambaugh. Here. Mary Bakershaw. E.O. Smith. Here. Janice Taylor. Here. Victoria Vasquez. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. At this time, I entertain approval of the minutes. Got a motion and a second. Discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. This time we'll drop down to the State of the Nation by our Principal Chief, Chuck Hoskins, Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honored to be before you all again. Mr. Speaker, since our last meeting, there has been much that has happened in the Cherokee Nation, some very encouraging and good, and some very discouraging. The discouraging part, of course, is the COVID virus, the COVID variant, which is spreading rapidly. The percentage of our citizens and our friends and neighbors that have the vaccine is far too low. I am proud that the workforce is exceeded 70%, the government workforce. That's helpful to our workforce, helpful to the communities where they live, helpful to their families, helpful to everyone that comes into our government offices. But we clearly, as a people, have to do more. So I know anything we can do to encourage vaccination will stem misery. It'll stem the hospitalization rate, which is really run rampant. I mean, just this weekend, some council members in this room were helping a constituent who at one point looked like they would have to be shipped across the country. Shipped. Can you imagine having to use those terms when you're talking about a human being, but to get the health care they needed because this region is overrun. Every single one of us who are not vaccinated are contributing to, frankly, the spread of this disease, and it is taxing our healthcare workforce, and more than anything, it is claiming human lives and inflicting a great deal of misery on the population. So I have to lead with that because I think it's the most pressing matter of the day for the Cherokee Nation. We had hoped to come into this period of time with a much more optimistic outlook. In fact, when we were discussing the Cherokee National Holiday a few months ago internally, in some ways it almost seemed almost too restrictive, some of the things we were talking about compared to what other organizations were doing. Now I think it's given us reason to pause and give some serious thought to, and I wanted to share with you that we are giving some serious thought to whatever further adjustments we might make to what was already to be I think a very safe Cherokee National Holiday with controls in place for crowds and safety. But I think we have to continue to think about it even though it is less than a month away. So, Mr. Speaker, that is the discouraging part of what's going on in the Cherokee Nation. The very encouraging part is we've just had a renewal of our democracy, which occasions every election, and the midterm elections are complete. I know we have a number of the incoming council members here. I know we'll have the reception for the outgoing council members. It's been an honor to serve with all of you. Certainly we'll miss those who are leaving, but appreciate your service. I look forward to meeting with the new councilors that come in and working and continuing the work of the Cherokee people. I think more than anything, the Cherokee people have told us that they want us to work together. They want us to come to this room and in this building, to these offices, and certainly be a check on each other, as branches of government have to be. Certainly ask tough questions, but always with a spirit of working together. That's the message that I have received from the election that has just concluded. We have had a number of other milestones we want to talk about and achievements. The Durbin Feeling Act of the United States Senate has passed at the Senate level, or the Senate committee level, and we hope that continues on. It is wonderful to have an act that will have a meaningful impact on preserving native languages in this country, named after the late Durbin Feeling. The registration office, getting back to COVID, we've suspended in-person access, but we continue to take things by fax and mail so that that staff can focus, number one, better on safety, because we had a lot of people coming in registration. As you know, we moved to the restaurant of the Cherokees, but also so that we can do more of the work more efficiently. They have a lot of applications to work through, and so the temporary closing of public access, at least in-person public access, will help both from a health standpoint and a productivity standpoint. OSU Medical School has welcomed a new class. 5 of the 53 are Cherokee citizens. We all want that number to be higher, and over time it will be, but 5 future doctors out of that class that are Cherokees is very encouraging to hear. OCO TV won 4 Emmys. I had nothing to do with that other than appear on camera briefly, and I think everything after that was Emmy-worthy. Finally, I want to state to you all what I have said publicly about our treasurer, Traylena Scott. Traylena Scott has served so admirably these 2 years. If you think about, and Mr. Speaker, you have seen many budget cycles in the time that you've been chief and on council, and many, no doubt, have been extraordinary, but I think the last 2 years have been extraordinary with the CARES Act funding, navigating the worst public health crisis in public memory and living memory from a financial standpoint has been a great challenge, and our treasurer has done an extraordinary job coming through with clean audits, helping us spend wisely and responsibly a tremendous amount of funds that have come through the Cherokee Nation, and to put us, if you can imagine it, Mr. Speaker, after the calamity of the last year, put us in a position where we are stronger today, financially stronger today than we were before COVID. That's something that we all, I think, should be proud of, but we're proud of our treasurer. The treasurer has announced that she's leaving her position and taking the position of chief economist at Cherokee Nation Businesses, which is very encouraging for me because that means she'll continue in leadership in some capacity in the Cherokee Nation. And we need that on the businesses because it's a business that's growing. It's a business that's forward-looking, and a chief economist position can help us evaluate the landscape, evaluate different markets, and determine how best to steer our businesses so they can continue to generate the kind of jobs and revenue that this government needs to meet the expectations that the Cherokee people have. So we're very proud of Traylena Scott. In that regard, very encouraged that she'll continue on. She will also hold the post of Special Envoy to the United States Department of the Treasurer for a key reason, Mr. Speaker. She was already nominated to be on the Treasury Advisory Committee, and to do that, she will retain a government position, and I trust that she'll be confirmed in the position for the Treasury so she continue to be our voice for the Treasury and some eyes and ears in that very important department. Finally, and in regard to the treasurer leaving her post, as difficult as it is to see her go, I couldn't be more excited about the person that I'm nominating. I'm nominating a woman who is highly qualified for the position, someone that has a tremendous amount of experience from a public service standpoint and significant experience from a business standpoint. All of that in one person who can take the reins in a department that has a lot of talented men and women, but of course you have to have solid leadership. I could not imagine someone that can provide more solid leadership than Janice Taylor, your colleague. I'm nominating her, and Mr. Speaker, and everyone that will remain on the council on the 26th of this month, she'll be on the agenda, and I would like you to give her due consideration, and I personally am so proud of her. I'd love us to give her a little applause here. And so, Mr. Speaker, that concludes the State of the Nation. Again, it's been an honor to be before you, and those who are wrapping up their service tonight, I've been very proud to be serving at a time when you are also serving. Thank you very much. What else?
You know, Chief, real briefly, you know, we went in this pandemic with a lot of questions and not too many answers. And financially, we were okay, but we came out of it. And your leadership has really proven that for the Cherokee Nation, how our budget, we're getting ready to, the new council will propose or look at this new budget of almost double of what we had before the pandemic. So, you know, you and your staff in cabinet level and all, and you know, Treasurer Traylena Scott, you guys did an outstanding job and make sure that the funds that were there, the CARE Act and COVID funds, that they were, as we spent those, they would pass, the test of audits. And you guys have done an outstanding job. So, we don't overlook that, your leadership and how you guys handle that. And you've done an outstanding job protecting our tribal members.
What else, Mr. Speaker? Definitely a teamwork and a labor of love for all of us. What else?
And you appointed my favorite ENF lady. I always tell her, I said, Janice, you're my favorite ENF person. I guess 10 years now? 8? Okay. Thank you, Chief. Okay, good report. A lot of questions there. Do we have our famous CEO with us, Chuck Garrett? Chuck, are you with us? Beam him up, Shelley. Can't hear him.
Yeah. How about now, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, that's much better there. All right.
Okay. Little technical snafu on our end. Sorry for that. And thanks very much for the opportunity to join the council this evening. It's always an honor, and I appreciate it very much. Wanted to, much like the chief, I wanted to start with just a quick update on our COVID-19 precautions at CMB. With the recent uptick in the Delta variant, we have tried to revisit some of the precautions and some of the operational restrictions that we have in place. And just wanted to provide you all some assurances that we were doing everything possible to protect our employees, their families, and of course our guests as well. We at CMB continue to offer free drive-through COVID-19 vaccinations for our employees and their families at most of our locations. We'll continue to do that and keep everyone apprised in our workforce of dates and places. We also have testing available at the Hard Rock Employee Clinic, and we're currently reviewing various options we have for potential other testing and even mandatory testing at other locations as well. That early detection just being crucial to the containment of the virus. So we're looking at different options there. And of course, just with respect to masking, we have a mandatory masking policy in place for our employees while they're in our facilities, and we'll continue that, as well as continue to impose some travel limitations on non-mandatory or non-required work travel. So trying to be very diligent and continue the good work that has been done to date. A few other little items of note. We have welcomed a new icon at the Hard Rock. It's the 65-foot tall Gibson Les Paul guitar replica that is out in front of our grand entrance. This will be a monument that will have sort of nightly light and music shows around. We're promoting it through Route 66 as well, hoping it becomes a regional icon for our tourism efforts. So come see it when you get a chance. It's 65 foot tall and weighs in about 2,000 pounds. So it's a very impressive structure with all sorts of interesting lighting and musical features that go along with it. So come see it some evening. I think you'll be impressed. As we've talked before, CNE is working hard to fill positions that are currently open. We're having multiple career fairs at this point at various casinos. We were at Hard Rock and West Siloam last month. We have several full-time and part-time positions available in gaming, security, hotel, and food and beverage. Some of the applicants, are being interviewed and hired on the spot at these career fairs. So please spread the word if you or your constituents have any interest. We are looking for some good folks to join a great team. So wanted to also mention that Nanyehi is returning to the Hard Rock. This will be our 11th year with that production. As most of you know, the musical is written by Becky Hobbs, who's a Nashville-based Cherokee citizen and award-winning songwriter, and along with director and co-playwright Nick Sweet. It's always a favorite. We get very good community outpouring for that show, and hopefully you all will be able to join as well. Just wanted to pick up on what the chief said about Treasurer Scott. It's really our major win here to have her skills and professionalism, her diligence back at CMB. It's in some respects her home where she served before serving as treasurer. So we're really excited to have Ms. Scott back on our team. Know her skills and work ethic will make an impact at our businesses. And lastly, I just want to also extend my appreciation to the outgoing counselors for their hard work, their dedication, and their commitment to Cherokee Nation, but also their support for Cherokee Nation businesses. We certainly would not be the company we are without the council's support, and I really personally appreciate the relationships we've developed and wish you all the very best. Mr. Speaker, I'd be happy to answer any questions, but that concludes my report.
Any questions for Mr. Chuck Garrett? Chuck, you always exceed everything that, we think about in your operation up there, Hard Rock and our other facilities there. You and your staff go above and beyond. I think we were operating close to 90% again before this last surge of this virus. Is that correct?
You are correct. We really had a strong comeback, good wind at our backs, and we're going to fight through this too. Though we're trying to be smart about it, and the team is really focused, trying to hit the results that we all had set for our goals. So hopefully we will make you proud.
We'll be back. Yes, Councilor Dobbins?
Chuck, is there a masking policy for guests at the concerts?
Yes, Counselor, thank you for bringing that up. We have two events coming up in the next little while. On August 14th, there's a boxing match, and on August 18th is Clint Black. We will have a masking requirement in the facility for our guests in the music venue itself. The gaming patrons that are not at the concert are not going to be required to wear a mask. We'll be continuing to monitor all other precautions we can take, but for these two shows in particular, there will be masking required within the venue.
Thank you, Chuck. Thanks, Speaker.
Anybody else? Are we good? Yeah, what you might do is hold about 2 or 3 slots for us in that non-human, Counselor Jordan, and maybe EO might just want to stand there on the side and just be 3 Indians there somewhere. If you can. Thank you. Thank you, Chuck.
All right.
Yes. Good report. All right. Old business, none pending. New business. All right, Counselor Deere, you want to take item number 1?
This is a resolution supporting the federal Indian boarding school initiative and encouraging similar efforts by Cherokee Nation. I'll put that in form of a motion.
Got a motion? Got a second? Any discussion? Yes, Counselor Dobbins?
I'd just like to be added as sponsor, Shelley. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else want to be added as a sponsor? It looks like, Yes. Okay. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Okay, Counselor Duncan, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, this is an act amending Title 21 of the Cherokee Nation Code annotated and declaring an emergency. Put that in the form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Counselor Buzzard, you want to take item number 3?
An act amending Title 57 of the Cherokee Nation Code annotated and declaring an emergency. Put that in the form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? You want to put that motion to amend right here?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we amend the agenda to add a new business item out of community services today.
Okay, got a motion and a second to add new agenda item. Any discussion? That's the resolution authorizing application to the Department of Commerce Tribal Broadband Connectivity Grant Program. So if not, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Okay. Counselor Taylor, last order of business while you're still on the council.
Yes. This is an act amending Legislative Act 17-20, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2021, Mod 10A, and I put that in the form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second on the budget. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Correct? Number 5. You want to read that?
Yes, this is a resolution authorizing application to the Department of Commerce Tribal Broadband Connectivity Grant Program. I put that in the form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? This like to be added as a sponsor. Look like everybody, Shelley. Like to bring up just a little a comment here. We lost one of our dear national treasures, Cherokee speaker last week, Lorene Drywater. I just want to commend everybody for their help. And, we've got that burial policy in place. Maybe it's sufficient, maybe it's not, but we'll leave that to the new council. Be a good item to discuss in the future on how you're going to address that and the criteria. So, okay. And at this time, I'd like to take just a brief moment to silence for all the ones that we've lost. I don't have the names in the past 30 days. If you do that, it's a moment of silence. Okay. Councilor Buzzard, you got anything to add, to say? You've been on this council for a while, and you've done
Well, I just want to say thank you to all the council members that are on the tribal council this time. I've enjoyed working with you. I know we haven't agreed on everything, but that's what a council should do. You should have the debates and actually come together as a person after that and still be friends. So hopefully this continues throughout the next tribal council session. I've also been on the council for 12 years. In those 12 years, I've seen a lot of improvements come to the Cherokee Nation, and hopefully that we'll continue seeing those improvements, and I'm sure we will. It's been a pleasure working with 4 different chiefs. I think I've been through, 4 administrations, so I have learned a lot. I have felt like I contributed what I could, and what I did contribute is what was a betterment for the Cherokee people. So, Speaker, I'd like to thank you for being our speaker for the last 4 years, and just want to thank all the tribal council members for their friendship. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Taylor, you just can't get enough.
I cannot. I want to echo much of what Harley said, but I want to thank my constituents for having the faith in me to put me in this position. It's truly been an honor to serve them and to do this work. I could not have imagined how much it would mean to me to be put in this position. And I have to thank my husband. He was at my very first council meeting, and he's out there in the audience today for always being by my side. You guys who have been involved with my work here know him as well as you know me, and so I want to thank him for being my biggest supporter. And I want to thank Keith Austin for sharing his mom with me. She made a good sounding board, always been very special to me, and all my colleagues on the council, you guys have been great. It's been a great ride, and it's been a pleasure serving with you.
Counselor Baker Shaw,
I was hoping I could go last.
you are last.
Listen, this has been a really great honor to work with you all and to work for Cherokee Nation. I've always been proud to be Cherokee. As a matter of fact, I was looking last night at my registration number, 16,856. I mean, I've been
16,000.
Cherokee forever and very proud of it. I want you to know that. And 4 years ago, when we were sworn in, I put my hand on the Bible and my daddy held it. And for your information, my daddy was a tribal counselor under two chiefs. And once he was on council with our speaker, Joe Byrd. He was on at a time when there was no salary involved for tribal counselors. And he was telling me, despite the fact that he has dementia, how wonderful those days were and how they always made a vote that they were always proud of. And he knew that they always voted what was best for our tribe. And so 4 years ago, when I put my hand on the Bible that he held, I promised him I would never make a vote that I would be ashamed of. As a matter of fact, Frank and I were talking last night, and when I stand before God on Judgment Day, I will be able to tell God that I never made a vote I would be ashamed of, ever have been, not for this tribe. And I would wish the same for each one of you here. Anyway, I've been proud to work with all of you all. We've accomplished some great things, and we work for a great people. And I wish you all nothing but the best. Watto.
Counselor Duncan.
Well, I echo much of what was said. Thank all you guys, my colleagues here. It's been a pleasure working beside you, leaning on you, asking for advice, and working together with you. I thank the chief, Chief Hoskin, Chief Baker, who was here when I first got on, for having an interest in not just all 14 counties, but in my case, in District 7. Able to help a lot of people, and that wasn't through me alone. It was through a collaboration of working together, which is something that needs to be focused on, I believe. But thank you guys. Thank you to District 7, all of Adair County, because Sean and I often cross each other's lines, and we don't bat an eye at it, and that's great. That's what makes working together great. So I thank Adair County. I thank my family, who it's not easy being a council person's spouse, as most of you guys know, or just mom and dad, so I thank them. Love you guys. This has been truly an honor and privilege. I've wanted to do this since I was a kid, and I can check that off my bucket list. But I thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. And also wanted to say, I've told Speaker Byrd this many times. I remember being a kid when he was chief. And after, and I kind of thought of him like a rock star, and I looking now, I got the privilege to get to work with him. So I'm very blessed, and I thank the good Lord, and I thank all of you. Thanks.
Is that your lovely wife back there? That's her. Okay. I feel really good about where things are on the council. We're stronger today than we were. I ran in Chief Baker's spot 10 years ago, and our budget wasn't anything like we have today. But we're going to have a budget. Last year, I think, was $1.5 billion. This time it's going to be at least double that. So the council, I feel like you're stronger, you're wiser than what I saw years ago. And I'm just really happy where the tribe is today and what we're doing for our people. And with leadership that we have today, I think there are just heights that we haven't reached yet. I ran on the council in '87. I was the youngest council member and served 2 terms, then filling Bill John's position. I think 18 years on the council. So I feel good about where we're leaving this. We've got our co-speaker back, and I know you guys will have elections and select the right people. I mean, this is really a wonderful day to be Cherokee. And all the years I remember and all the things that we've done here as tribe. I first started working for a tribe when we had 25,000 members, and we rented a building from NSU at Wiley Hall. We didn't even have our own building. So we've come a long ways, and I think most of you here, if we had to do it, we could probably walk the Trail of Tears. Not all of you, but most of you. So anyway, I just say look forward to continue to support, you in every aspect. If you ever need us for anything, I know, the ones that are going off, you have our numbers, but we support you. And just because you're not on the council does not mean you don't continue to fight for sovereignty and continue to fight for our people. So this is a good ride, and we still got a lot of work to do, people. So I've enjoyed serving with you guys, and I just see nothing but great things from you. So been good being your speaker and putting your trust in me. Well, don't.
I would be remiss, there's too many people to thank, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say a special thank you to my good buddy and colleague over there, Sean Crittenden. We kind of fight like brother and sister sometimes. I'm the brother, he's the sister. And but all joking aside, I know that when I wake up every morning and my phone's sitting there and it's got missed calls already and missed messages, I know he's got the same ones, and he's going to call me or I'm going to call him, and he's going to say, hey, what are we going to do on this one? What are we going to do on that one? And, man, that just makes things a lot easier. So, Sean, I love you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, there's a small reception following this. Anything else? And what's going to be turned off? Your key cards. Key cards? Okay. I never did have one anyway. But anyway, and I got some quotes from it. I'll share it with you guys later. But you got Gail Miller. You got Shelley, Jody, Jennifer, and Teddy. Folks, that is the most outstanding staff I've ever had an opportunity to work with. They are A+. I mean, they truly know what they're doing. If you ever have a doubt, just yield to your expertise. They've been doing this for how long? 22 years. So they really have a way of making the council look good. So let's give them an applause. All right, I need a motion to.
Hopefully, yes, hopefully our motions come from people who are councilmen who will be leaving. I hope they will come from both of them. The motion and the second would be nice to hear your voice one last time.
There we go. Okay. Got a motion, 2 seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Agiosi.